Welcome to. Imagine for a moment that the real reason a man becomes deeply attached to a woman has very little to do with surface-level things like her appearance, how entertaining she is, or even how perfectly they seem to match from the outside. This is where many people misunderstand the way deep love actually develops. They believe a man reaches a profound emotional connection simply because the attraction is strong or because being together feels effortless. And yes, those things can create the beginning of a connection, but they are not what transforms simple interest into a powerful, lasting attachment. There is something much deeper that creates the kind of bond where he looks at you during an ordinary moment and feels something he cannot fully explain. It is the kind of emotional connection where imagining life without you feels almost impossible. He does not just enjoy having you around, he feels like your presence has become an important part of his world. The surprising thing is that many women who already have this kind of love in their relationship often do not recognize it. They may be with a man who is genuinely devoted to them, someone who has chosen them and values what they share, yet there is still a quiet uncertainty inside. A small voice keeps asking questions. Does he truly love me for who I am? Or is he simply comfortable because this relationship feels familiar? Is he choosing me every day? Or is he just staying because walking away would be difficult? If those thoughts have ever crossed your mind, understand that it does not automatically mean you are insecure or overthinking. It is a very human reaction when you deeply care about something but do not know how to measure its true value. When your heart is invested, you naturally want reassurance that what you have built is real and lasting. The problem is that many people were taught to focus on the wrong things. They were told that being easygoing, attractive, supportive, and enjoyable was the formula for keeping someone interested. But very few people explain the deeper emotional process that causes someone to move from simply liking you to becoming completely emotionally invested in you. There is a specific shift that happens inside a person when someone goes from being another romantic possibility to becoming truly irreplaceable. It is the moment when one individual starts to feel different from everyone else. Other options no longer create the same emotional pull because the connection feels unique. That is what we are exploring today. There are 5 important elements that create this level of emotional attachment. This is not about making someone comfortable in a relationship or simply creating a peaceful partnership. It is about understanding what creates a deeper bond that reaches someone emotionally and makes them value you in a completely different way. When you understand these ideas, 2 major things happen. First, you stop constantly questioning whether his feelings are genuine because you begin recognizing the signs of real emotional investment. Second, you gain a clearer understanding of why he feels connected to you specifically and what makes your relationship meaningful beyond the obvious things. Before we go deeper, take a moment to like this video if you have ever been in a situation where someone said all the right words, showed affection, and did everything that looked right from the outside, yet something inside you still wondered if the connection was truly deep. To understand what creates lasting love, we first need to look at the common signs people often mistake for proof of deep feelings. One of the biggest things women focus on is what a man says. They pay attention to the words, "I love you," the compliments, the romantic promises, and all the verbal expressions of affection. And while those moments can be meaningful, words alone are not always the strongest evidence of emotional depth. Anyone can say beautiful things, but saying something and genuinely feeling it at the deepest level are 2 completely different experiences. Another thing many people measure is the amount of time someone gives them. They look at whether he makes them a priority, how often he reaches out, or how much time they spend together. But time by itself does not always reveal the full truth. Someone can spend a lot of time with you because of routine, convenience, or because the relationship has become familiar. 2 people can share the same home, the same responsibilities, and the same daily life, yet still lack that powerful emotional connection that makes someone feel truly chosen. So if deep love is not proven only through words and it is not measured simply by the amount of time spent together, then what actually creates that unforgettable bond? What makes someone feel that one person is different from everyone else? That is where we need to look deeper. Many people also focus on how a man behaves publicly. They wonder if he proudly introduces them, talks about them with friends, shows them off, or makes it obvious to everyone that they are together. These can certainly be positive signs, but they are not always the final proof of someone's feelings. Every person expresses love differently. Some men are naturally private and prefer to keep meaningful parts of their life away from public attention. A man can be deeply committed, completely invested, and genuinely in love, while still not feeling the need to display every emotion for the world to see. Some men do the opposite. They know how to create the image of being the perfect partner when other people are watching, but behind closed doors, the emotional connection may not be nearly as strong as it appears. A relationship can look amazing from the outside and still feel empty on the inside. That is why focusing only on visible actions can sometimes lead people in the wrong direction. The deepest form of love is usually found in the things that cannot be easily measured. It is not about counting messages, calculating how often he plans dates, or keeping track of every romantic gesture. Those things can be nice, but they are not what creates intense emotional attachment. The kind of love where someone becomes deeply devoted is created through 5 powerful emotional foundations that operate beneath the surface. The first reason a man can become deeply attached is because you awakened an emotion in him that he never expected to experience. Most relationships follow a familiar pattern. 2 people meet, attraction develops, they spend more time together, and everything moves along a predictable path. But sometimes someone enters your life and changes the entire experience. There is a moment where something feels different, something unexpected happens emotionally, and he finds himself affected before he even has time to analyze it. Maybe it was a conversation where you shared a perspective that stayed in his mind for days. Maybe it was a simple moment where he saw your genuine personality without any effort to impress him. It usually is not some dramatic, movie-like gesture. More often, it is a small, authentic moment where your true nature reaches him in a way he cannot logically explain. That is what separates a relationship built on convenience from one built on a deep emotional decision. When someone connects with you before they have a chance to create defenses or expectations, that experience becomes unforgettable. It stays with them because it feels rare. They remember how they felt around you, not just what happened. The interesting part is that you probably were not trying to create that effect. You were simply being yourself. And that authenticity allowed him to recognize the difference between someone trying to impress him and someone who is genuinely real. The second reason a man can develop this level of love is because you became a place where he felt completely safe to be himself. This is something many people underestimate. A lot of men spend much of their lives carrying expectations and trying to maintain a certain image. They feel pressure to appear strong, confident, successful, and emotionally controlled around friends, family, co-workers, and even society in general. They often hide their struggles because they believe showing weakness will change how others see them. But when he is with you, that pressure begins to disappear. He realizes he does not have to constantly prove himself. He can share his thoughts honestly. He can admit when something is bothering him. He can have moments of uncertainty without feeling like he has lost his value. He can be imperfect, quiet, frustrated, or vulnerable and still feel accepted. That kind of emotional safety is incredibly powerful because it is not something people find easily. When a man discovers a person who allows him to be fully human instead of demanding perfection, that connection becomes something he deeply protects. True love does not grow from constantly performing a role. It grows when 2 people can be completely seen and still feel completely accepted. You gave him the rare experience of feeling understood without needing to hide parts of himself. That feeling can create a bond much stronger than attraction alone because it reaches a deeper emotional level. The third reason he becomes so attached is because you wanted him, but you did not depend on him to create your entire happiness. You entered his life as someone who already had her own identity. You had your own dreams, your own interests, your own friendships, and your own sense of direction. Your love for him was clear, but it came from a place of choice rather than desperation. There is a major difference between someone who chooses you because they truly appreciate you and someone who holds on to you because they feel incomplete without you. When a person relies on someone else to fill every emotional need, the relationship can begin to feel like a responsibility instead of a partnership. The other person may start feeling pressure, as if they are responsible for maintaining their partner's entire emotional stability. Over time, that pressure can create distance because love begins to feel like an obligation. But when you have your own life, your own purpose, and your own sources of happiness, something changes. He understands that you are with him because you genuinely want to be, not because you have no other option. He sees that you are a complete person who still chooses him. Being loved by someone who is strong enough to stand alone, yet chooses to walk beside you, creates a powerful feeling of being truly valued. The fourth foundation of deep devotion is the way you showed up during the moments that actually tested the relationship. This is not about being present only during the exciting times, the celebrations, or the moments that are easy to share with the world. Real emotional attachment is often created during the difficult seasons, when life becomes complicated and someone is not at their best. Maybe he was dealing with stress, disappointment, a career challenge, or a personal struggle. Maybe he became quieter, more frustrated, or harder to understand during that period. Instead of walking away because things were no longer effortless, you remained supportive. You did not need to make a dramatic announcement about your loyalty. Your actions quietly showed him that your care was not dependent on everything being perfect. Many men struggle to express how deeply moments like this affect them, but they remember them. Anyone can enjoy someone's company when life is easy. But the person who remains present when things become difficult creates a completely different level of trust. You showed him that your connection was not based only on happiness and excitement. You showed him that you could stand beside him through uncertainty. And that kind of reliability becomes one of the strongest reasons someone begins to see you as irreplaceable. The fifth and final reason that creates this kind of lasting devotion is that you never abandoned yourself while loving him. Even as the relationship became deeper and more serious, you continued to remain your own person. You did not allow your entire identity to disappear inside the relationship. You continued to carry the qualities, passions, and individuality that made him notice you in the first place. You never started changing yourself just to become more acceptable to him. You did not silence your opinions, hide your personality, or make yourself smaller because you were afraid of losing the relationship. You continued showing up as the same person he was drawn to from the beginning. You kept your unique thoughts, your individual qualities, your boundaries, and even your imperfect moments. That authenticity is incredibly powerful because many people lose themselves once they become emotionally attached. At the beginning, they are completely genuine, but as their feelings grow stronger, fear begins to take over. They start monitoring every word, avoiding disagreements, and adjusting themselves to maintain peace. Slowly, the person their partner connected with starts disappearing beneath a version designed to please. But you chose a different path. You continued bringing the real version of yourself into the relationship. Because of that, he is not attached to an image or a carefully created version of you. He is connected to a real person with emotions, strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and imperfections. That is one of the rarest things someone can experience. He knows who you truly are, and he loves that person instead of loving a fantasy. This is what allows attraction and emotional connection to survive beyond the early excitement of a relationship. The honeymoon stage may eventually calm down, but authenticity creates something much stronger, a bond built on truth, acceptance, and genuine appreciation. Understanding these 5 foundations is not only about recognizing why someone loves you, it is also about protecting the connection you have created. Even relationships that feel strong can slowly lose their emotional closeness if certain patterns begin to appear. One of the biggest mistakes people make is changing their behavior once they feel secure in the relationship. In the beginning, you were probably relaxed, expressive, and completely yourself. But after realizing how much he matters to you, you may start becoming more cautious. You begin analyzing every reaction, worrying about saying the wrong thing, or trying too hard to maintain his interest. Without realizing it, the natural energy that attracted him in the first place starts fading because you replace your authentic self with a version that is constantly trying to perform. Another thing to be careful about is making his love the foundation of your entire self-worth. His affection can bring happiness, comfort, and emotional security, but it should never become the only thing that makes you feel valuable. When you begin needing constant reassurance just to feel loved, the relationship can start carrying a heavy emotional burden. A healthy connection is built when two complete individuals choose each other, not when one person feels responsible for keeping the other person emotionally stable. His love can support your happiness, but your sense of worth must come from within you. When you depend entirely on his validation, even a deeply loving man can begin to feel pressure that slowly affects the relationship. Another important thing is learning to protect the vulnerability he shares with you. When a man opens up about his fears, insecurities, struggles, or personal experiences, he is trusting you with parts of himself that he may not reveal to many people. That trust creates emotional intimacy. But if those vulnerable moments are later used against him during disagreements, something important breaks. Using someone's deepest fears as a weapon may win an argument in the moment, but it damages the feeling of emotional safety between two people. When a man begins to feel that his heart is not protected with you, he may naturally start becoming more guarded. The openness that once brought you closer can slowly disappear, and rebuilding that trust can take time. At the end of the day, the deepest kind of love is not created through perfection, constant effort, or trying to become someone you think another person will choose. Real love is created when two people are able to see each other clearly and still decide that they want to stay. It is built in the quiet moments that nobody else notices. It is found in the conversations that reveal who you truly are, in the difficult seasons where commitment is tested, and in the simple everyday experiences where someone continues choosing you even when there is nothing exciting happening. A man does not become deeply attached because a woman is flawless. He becomes attached because being with her feels different. He feels understood. He feels accepted. He feels like he can finally put down the emotional armor he has carried for years and simply exist as himself. That kind of connection cannot be created through manipulation, pretending, or trying to follow a perfect formula. It comes from authenticity. It comes from two people showing up honestly and allowing each other to be human. The most powerful thing you can offer in a relationship is not the ability to always say the right thing, always look perfect, or always keep the relationship exciting. It is the ability to remain genuine while loving someone deeply. It is knowing that you can care for someone without abandoning yourself. It is understanding that your value does not come from how much someone needs you, but from the unique person you already are. Many people spend years searching for ways to become unforgettable to someone else. They focus on what they can do, what they can change, or how they can make themselves more desirable. But often, the thing that creates the strongest emotional connection is the exact opposite. It is the courage to stop performing. It is the confidence to be honest. It is the ability to say, "This is who I am," and trust that the right person will not be scared away by your authenticity. The woman a man deeply loves is not always the woman who gives the most, sacrifices the most, or tries the hardest to keep him happy. Often, she is the woman who brings peace into his life while still having a life of her own. She supports him without losing herself. She loves him without making him responsible for her entire happiness. She stands beside him without forgetting that she also has her own dreams, passions, and identity. That balance is what creates a relationship where love continues growing instead of becoming a burden. Because healthy love is not about one person completing another. It is about two complete individuals creating something meaningful together. When he sees that you are with him because you truly choose him, not because you cannot survive without him, that creates a completely different emotional experience. He understands that your love is a decision, not a dependency. And that is why the little moments often matter more than the grand gestures. The way you listen when he has something difficult to say. The way you remember the things that matter to him. The way you stay kind even during disagreements. The way you encourage him while still respecting yourself. These moments may seem ordinary, but they create the emotional foundation that makes someone feel safe, valued, and deeply connected. A relationship built only on attraction can fade. A relationship built only on comfort can become routine. But a relationship built on emotional safety, respect, admiration, and authenticity has the ability to survive challenges and continue becoming stronger over time. That is the difference between someone simply enjoying your presence and someone feeling that your presence has become a meaningful part of their life. So if you have been questioning whether you are truly loved, do not only look for the obvious signs. Look deeper. Pay attention to how he responds to your true self. Notice whether he trusts you with his thoughts, whether he allows himself to be vulnerable, whether he values your individuality, and whether he continues choosing you even when life is not perfect. Those are the moments that reveal the depth of a connection. And remember, the goal is never to convince someone to love you. The right relationship does not require you to constantly prove your worth. The right person recognizes your value because of who you are, not because of how perfectly you perform a role. Your job is not to become someone impossible to lose. Your job is to remain someone you are proud to be. When you are authentic, emotionally grounded, and connected to your own purpose, you naturally create the kind of relationship where love has room to grow. You become someone who is not just desired but respected, not just appreciated during good moments but valued through every season of life. Because the strongest love is not built on fear of losing someone. It is built on the feeling of gratitude that you found someone worth choosing again and again. And when two people can create that kind of bond, they do not simply stay together because it is comfortable. They stay because, even after seeing each other completely, they still believe that life feels better with each other in it. It is equally important that you never allow your own world to disappear inside the relationship. Remember, he was attracted to a woman who had her own energy, interests, ambitions, and passions. Continue investing in the things that make you feel alive. Maintain your friendships, pursue your goals, and keep exploring the parts of yourself that existed before the relationship. Love should add to your life, not replace everything that made you who you are. When you stop nurturing your own identity, you slowly lose the qualities that made you unique in the first place. A healthy relationship is not two people becoming one person. It is two individuals growing together while still maintaining their own sense of self. Finally, allow yourself to truly receive the love that is being offered to you. Sometimes past disappointments create invisible walls around our hearts. Even when someone is showing consistency, choosing us, and proving their commitment, a part of us may still expect something to go wrong. That hidden fear can prevent us from fully experiencing the relationship in front of us. A man can feel when someone is emotionally holding back, even if nothing is said directly. It is difficult to continue giving deeply when the other person is always preparing for the moment they might be hurt. Opening yourself to love does not mean ignoring reality. It means allowing yourself to appreciate what is genuine when it is present. This is not meant to become a list of things you should constantly worry about or perfect. It is simply a way to recognize the value of what you may already have. If you see your relationship reflected in these 5 foundations, then what exists between you may be much deeper than routine or convenience. He experienced something unexpected with you. He found emotional comfort and acceptance. He felt chosen by someone who had her own strength. He saw your loyalty during difficult moments. And most importantly, he fell in love with the real person you are. If this message helped you understand your relationship in a new way, support by liking this video. It helps these insights reach more people who may need them. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next discussion. And share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to know which of these 5 reasons connected with your own experience the most. Every story is different, and your perspective matters. You deserve a love that feels genuine, secure, and deeply meaningful.